Hey folks, welcome back to the Lone Pine Tarot, or as I always say, welcome to Lone Pine Tarot for the very first time if you're brand new here. Thank you so much for joining me today for our pick a card reading about what divine aid will you receive next. So pretty straightforward, pretty short and sweet. Let's pick our pile leaders to choose our messages with today, calling on spirit with the highest, best intentions in mind for all of us. Please guide us to the right pile leaders today. Thank you. Okay, and let's split the deck. So 1, 2, and then I'll go down a few for this one. And let's unveil our pile leaders today. So, pile number 1, your archetype card is Exorcist. Okay, there's your pile leader. For pile number 2 today, here in the middle, your pile leader archetype card is God. And last but not least, for pile number 3, your archetype / pile leader is Student. So pile 1, Exorcist, pile 2, God, pile 3 is Student. Though as I always say, you're welcome to pause on the video right now if you need more time to decide. If you are new to pick a card readings and you're not quite sure how to pick, I always like to guide us through what I call a meditative moment. So close your eyes, taking a deep, cleansing breath. Imagine filling light into your lungs as you do so, then hold it for just a few moments. And then when you breathe back out again, open your eyes and see where they are drawn first. Or you might get what I call a good little feeling in your gut, what we call intuition. And that is the pile I recommend you choose when you get that feeling as you look at it. But whatever your method, as I always say, you can even just choose based on what looks the coolest. That works too. You can drop down to the description box below or the top pinned comment. Find the timestamp for your pile, and I'll see you in our chat about what divine aid will you receive next. See you there. Hello there, pile number 1. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about what divine aid you'll receive next. And of course, as you can recall, you were drawn to the card of Exorcist for your pile leader today. So I'll read the smaller text now that we're within your actual reading. Light attribute is freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses. And shadow attribute is fear of facing your own demons. Okay, we'll keep that in mind as we go through the reading. First, let us draw your tarot spread, and then I have 2 oracle cards I want to also use to begin the reading. So, let's draw your tarot cards first. Spirit, what divine aid will pile 1 receive next from the universe? Can you tell me more about the context, please? Thank you. Okay, the Ace of Pentacles reversed. 7 of Cups. Those are the first 2 that flipped out quite strongly. Ace of Pentacles reversed tells me there's something in your life recently where you feel like you've been lacking an opportunity, especially in terms of the realms of career and finance and material things, okay? Because this is the Pentacle suit being coins. Reversed, it means it feels like you haven't been given this opportunity. Okay, and then we have the 7 of Cups. Upright especially tends to mean things related to our dreams or our hopes, okay? Just like, I believe this is the folk tale of Aladdin looking at the different lamps, not sure which one to choose, okay? Which one has the genie he's looking for, which one is a trap, okay? So that tends to tell me that you not only have been looking for this opportunity and it hasn't been coming your way, but on top of that, maybe a part of it too is you trying to figure out, well, what opportunity is the best opportunity, okay? Which one do I take when it comes along? Or it could also mean that maybe this has shaken your faith a little bit in terms of feeling like, well, I haven't been given this opportunity. Should I give up on the thing that I feel like I'm desiring? Okay, that can also be the energy of the 7 of Cups. It's kind of a reevaluation of dreams type card of goals. All right, and then we have the other 3 that I just pulled out right now. I'm also just going to shuffle your oracle deck that I mentioned that would be part of the beginning of the reading. So bringing out the tea leaves. Oopsie, that was not the best shuffle in the world. Let's try that again. Whoopsie. Sometimes I have struggles with this particular deck with tiny hands and it being round. Okay, that one's a little bit better. Okay, this one says pick me. And then let's do the other half of the deck and get a second tea leaf for you. There we go. A bit easier to shuffle when it's a smaller half of the deck. Okay, so we'll take the top one, because that's the one that flipped out here on top first. All right, so you already got a bit of a sneak peek with this one. We have carriage, a journey, either physical or mental. And let's reveal the other tea leaf while we're at it. We also have bat, take care, enemies are working against you. So that might play into this lack of opportunity here, pile one, that you've been feeling leading up to this aid that you're getting, okay? It could possibly be that maybe you feel like the reason why you were not given this opportunity was because like someone else had kind of taken it away from you, or it's like someone else had the power in the situation, and like whatever their authority is, it was enough to pull it away from you. Or it could even have been like maybe they got the opportunity instead. So it kind of feels like the universe working against you, or like it doesn't necessarily mean bad intent on their part. Although for some of you that could possibly be the situation, because it does say enemies working against you, of course. And then yes, carriage, journey, either physical or mental. Okay. Let's look at your other tarot cards to get the full picture. We have another ace reversed, and especially being the heart of the matter card, I call the central card, or the third in my spread. It's kind of like the Ace of Pentacles, where it's a opportunity, but instead of being in the realm of finance, it's in the realm of creativity or our ambitions, or the things that we're passionate about, being the suit of fire in tarot wands, okay? So not only is this something that you feel like it has been denied you for money reasons, it's also denied you, or not money reasons, I should say, denied to you in the realm of like money, finance, career. It's also something that feels like it's been denied to you, this opportunity in the realm of things that you're passionate about, like you really care about, or you're ambitious about, okay? So it could have been, say, a promotion, could have been, say, a, like recognition of some sort. Maybe it's even like you've been looking for a job and it feels like every other candidate always gets picked whatever job you interview at. So that can be like the feeling of like enemies working against you that we talked about with the bat card. And two, with carriage, it says a journey, either physical or mental. So it's possible like you moving to a new workplace as part of that context, okay? Yeah, let's look at the other cards. We have the Two of Swords, indecision, trying to make a choice. And we also see that not only is this, swords are the air suit in tarot, but there is fire on this card too. So it's like being surrounded by fire. Which choice do we take? So not only is it a choice I'm feeling that you've been struggling with in terms of, wanting an opportunity that just doesn't seem to come your way for some reason, but it's also with the fire surrounding it, might be even something that feels kind of pivotal to your survival. Like in terms of, once again, a job of some sort or a promotion of some sort, things that have to do with those areas of your life. And yeah, making a choice. And then we have the Eight of Swords reversed as the outcome, though. And you know what that means, pile one? An Eight of Swords reversed in a reading like this means being freed from the trap that we're in. Okay? So literally, you can already see the divine help that's coming. Based on that final card, you're going to be freed from this problem, okay? Whatever recently you've been feeling like you've been denied financial opportunities or opportunities regarding the things that you are ambitious about or invoke your creativity, you're going to be freed, okay? There's going to be a choice coming up as well. That's what the Two of Swords is all about, a choice, as we discussed. So right now, it feels like the universe has kind of dealt you a lot of bad hands. You had, Ace of Pentacles reversed and Ace of Wands reversed. And then two, with the element of the Seven of Cups, as I described before, the Seven of Cups can mean like reevaluation of our goals. Like, really, is this the best decision for me? Like, what path do I take now that this has been thrown my way? Maybe I'm even questioning, like, should I even keep going on this path? Okay. That's what a Seven of Cups is all about, especially regarding our dreams. And next to an Ace of Wands reversed, it's like a reevaluation of like, maybe it isn't meant for me because it feels like the universe keeps denying me this thing. That kind of thinking, right? But then you're offered a choice. And then boom, you're freed from whatever this is. So We do have more details to get to, of course, but so far what I'm seeing, if I had to summarize the aid, it's that the universe is going to throw you a bone in terms of offering you a choice to free yourself from the thing that's been denied you in this area of your life, okay? And then looking too at your Exorcist card, I like to also integrate the pile leader, because I think there's a reason why you're intuitively drawn to certain cards, right, pile one? And an Exorcist, like it says, frees self and others from destructive impulses, but then on the other side, with a shadow attribute, it says fear of facing your own demons. So it almost feels like whatever this is has been like a demon plaguing you. Okay, we see a lot of even kind of scary imagery here. Like, we think of exorcism as like getting rid of negative spirits, getting rid of demons, and then even bats, which, I mean, I personally think they're kind of cute. But I know a lot of people associate bats with like spooky things, like, say when we celebrate Halloween, bats are associated with Halloween because they're spooky creatures of the night, right? So I don't know too, maybe even you've been having nightmares about this recently a lot. Maybe that's where all the swords energy is coming up, because swords are the suit of air, which is the mind, also communication and intelligence and logic in tarot, but especially with the mind and being drawn to the thought of like nightmares of some sort. And then even too, like this carriage in the background, I think you can pick this out on camera. It's going through a pretty spooky looking area. Those trees look pretty bare. They look like it kind of, I mean, there's some flowers and there's some leaves, but it looks like it's pretty barren. Like, it doesn't look like a very verdant forest, okay? So it makes me think of like you having to take a journey through something that's very scary, right? So the mental strain Spirit is mentioning, they're like, we know that you've been going through a lot of mental strain with this. And like I said, maybe even like say nightmares. Maybe you've been having some anxieties as well, which is very understandable and exceptionally normal for a situation like this where it feels like everywhere you turn, these opportunities have been taken away from you. Okay. I might have some extra questions to answer at the end with some extra tarot cards, but right now, pile one, what I want to do is draw the other two oracle decks that I have for you today. So let's grab those, and then we'll see if maybe those cards answer the questions that I'm thinking of. Otherwise, we'll draw some more tarot cards as well to get more clarity, but let's look at your Dream Ritual Oracle. Anything else you want to say here, Spirit, for pile one about this opportunity? Because we haven't heard much about the vehicle of delivery of this, other than it's going to be a choice you're given to free yourself, okay? I'm drawn to this one. We have impulse. So it might even kind of seem like it comes out of nowhere, because, when we think of the term impulse, we think about something that happens very spontaneously, right? There's that element of spontaneity of it coming kind of out of the blue. Something done with the heart. I mean, even looking at the outline of the design here. And two, it might even come from something that you do on impulse that just by pure butterfly effect leads you to the ability to make a choice to free yourself from this lack of opportunity that you've been experiencing, okay? Impulse. And also, too, full moon means completion of a cycle of some sort. Very beautiful. Completion of a cycle, which makes me think that things coming to an end, as in the struggles that you've been going through, right? Also, things coming to fruition. Okay, what else do you want to say, Spirit? Thank you. Okay, well, for sure, this one is like, pick me. Look at that. We've got creativity with helper guides, okay? We have a hand holding paint brushes. Speaking of creativity, just like we saw here with the ink brush and the Ace of Wands, a lot of fire in this reading as well. So I think because of, there's a few things coming forward for me intuitively from this card having just popped out. Number one, I think this opportunity is coming in the realm of something that you're trying to be creative about. I don't know if some of you are artists, like, and that can be any medium, not just painting like the example in the picture, but it could be, say, music, art, acting, writing, whatever have you. But it also can mean, just in general, that reflecting the meaning of the card impulse, this opportunity just kind of comes out of nowhere. Like, it comes through in like a really creative way, like not the logical, direct left brain type of way of like, oh, well, I interview for this job and I see the listing, or, well, I guess you'd put that in reverse. You see the listing, you interview the job, you get it that way. No, this feels like this opportunity is coming in a very roundabout way, like you just happen to overhear somebody someday because you go to a certain cafe on impulse or coffee shop on impulse, and you overhear them say, oh man, we just lost this person in our company and we really need a replacement. It's something along those lines. Like, it's not the traditional way that you would expect this to come forward, okay? So look out for this divine help to come along in places you don't expect, okay? Also, if you ever get any particular impulses in the near future, especially because, and this is the way I always have kind of experienced it and the way that I describe it to others, is that, especially like when you have spirit guides helping you out, a lot of times they help you out in ways that you don't quite understand or expect at the time that it happens. So like, let's say for an example, we'll keep going on with the cafe idea or the coffee shop idea. Maybe you don't normally go to a coffee shop or a particular cafe or restaurant, and then all of a sudden one day you get this weird, strange inkling like, oh, you know, I haven't been there for a while. I really, really want like a caramel macchiato, or I really, really want to go to this restaurant I haven't been to in like over 10 years. If you get things like that, and you know, you can insert anything else besides, you know, restaurant or coffee shop. It could be a store. It could be a community location like a park. Anything like that. If you get an impulse, pile 1, please follow it, because that might be where the opportunity is lying in wait. Okay? So do the unexpected and you'll receive the unexpected. Now, I do have these final questions for you. Like I said, I might pull more tarot cards at the end. Let me condense them down to maybe say 1 or 2. I actually, number 1, I want to ask like exactly the nature of what it is you'll be receiving. Now, of course, that'll be a little bit different for every single one of you, depending on what it is that you've been feeling like a lack of opportunities with recently, but this might help you clarify just a little bit more, at least me as the tarot reader, precisely what this is about. So Spirit, for pile 1, can you tell me more about like what is it that's being offered to them besides the choice? Like, I know we kind of know that, but we kind of know that it's a choice of some sort. But so the King of Cups, interesting. That can mean a masculine energy that's a water sign or has a lot of water placement in their chart. It can also mean someone that is emotionally mature or also takes actions with maturity of emotion in mind. Okay, so that might be a figure that's a part of this. We also have the 6 of Cups, which is nostalgia or childhood or siblings. Interesting. Maybe it's that you get an impulse to go somewhere with a sibling or like an old friend of yours from childhood. That could also be part of it. That's one way you could interpret the 6 of Cups. And then the Hierophant is tradition. Okay, doing things as we have always been doing. Things that are passed down in terms of traditions. Also, it can mean spiritual authority. Okay, so I almost wonder, pile 1, if there's something about a figure of authority that's a part of this. Because not only do you have the Hierophant, but you also have a king. And like that speaks to me of like someone from a position of authority of some sort, especially someone that's a water sign, because not only did you get King of Cups, but you also got the 6 of Cups, which are both water cards in tarot. They're also, I think, someone that you've known for a long time. Okay, or it's like, it could also be like the place that you have an impulse to visit is a place that you've gone to for like even if the last time you visited it was years ago, it could possibly be like something that is technically like a tradition to you. Also, that's another meaning of the Hierophant too. A lot about tradition and nostalgia here with these 2 cards, 6 of Cups and the Hierophant. So look for things along those lines. And I also think by having this 6 of Cups and Hierophant come out, it's almost like it's a return to something that you had before. Hence the nostalgia and the tradition cards, okay? Like, I don't know if the opportunity you've been looking for is, like, returning to what you had, like maybe a job that was similar to the last one that you lost, potentially, or it could also be, like, something that, like, is done in an old-fashioned way. I know it sounds kind of odd, but I know some jobs are like that, right? Where, like, say sometimes people do, like, they sell antiques. Like, that would be one example. Selling antiques. Something old-fashioned, or you make something in the old-fashioned way, or it's like a company that has been around for a very long time. Something along those lines. There's some nature of that to this opportunity, okay? And then, yes, look for a King of Cups, which tends to represent a masculine figure. And actually, traditionally, the Hierophant does too, though this particular deck, this is a female figure. I believe this is White Buffalo Woman. So, but I would lean that this person that mentions the opportunity as being masculine energy. Though it could technically be a bit of a coin toss because you have a lot of both feminine and masculine in your reading. All right. Although, I think the figure in your Two of Swords is also female. Yes, feminine energy. So, So some of you, it might be feminine energy. Some of you might be masculine, but I'm going to lean towards masculine for most of you. So, let's see. Anything else here in the reading? I want to make sure we got everything. Oh, especially, too, with the Exorcist is feminine, too. I'm going to say for about, and I know I keep going back and forth, about 60% of you, it's a feminine figure. About 40% it's masculine. Okay. So, yeah, follow your impulses. All right. Know that you're going to be mentally freed from something very soon. That was the very clear outcome card for your reading. Look for people, too, that are water signs. If you're able to know that, that might help you with figuring out, like, where, like, what direction this is coming from or what person this is coming from. Because you did get the King of Cups, which would be a water figure, right? Let's see. Anything else? And just in general, it's going to relieve a lot of mental anxiety and a lot of mental stress. I'm saying that especially because of the card you were drawn to with the Exorcist, but then the Eight of Swords too reversed. That's another really good relieving mental anxiety card. And so, I mean, if you've been questioning recently, Pile 1, if you should keep going on the path that you're going on because you feel like you've been lacking opportunities, this is like the universe saying, no, keep going. You're going to see a breakthrough with this soon. Just follow your impulses when they're given to you, and that will lead you true to where you're supposed to be, where you'll get this choice, this opportunity that you've been looking for. Okay? So, pretty straightforward. That is your reading for today about what divine help will come your way soon. So basically, it's, yeah, the universe will throw you a bone in terms of opportunities where you've been lacking some recently, especially in the terms of like finances / career as well as ambitions. So I hope you liked the reading. I hope it resonated. I hope, of course, most of all, that it helped you. And if so, please like the video itself. Please comment down below your story. And please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so yet. I just do my little spiel here at the end just to remind you. It's just a tiny little button click away for you, which helps me immeasurably with keeping the dream of this channel alive, with promoting spiritual healing for people, as well as providing free readings for both you and others in the future. And as is our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, Pile 1. Hello there, Pile number 2. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about the divine aid you will receive next. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the beautiful God card from our Archetypes deck. And now that we are onto your reading, let me read the smaller text. So light attributes is benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. And shadow attributes is despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. So keep those things in mind as we go through your reading. I'm going to begin today with a tarot spread and one of our oracle decks. So actually, I'm going to draw the oracle decks first. All right, Spirit, what do you want to say about the opportunity, the divine aid coming their way? Thank you. We have the Knot. Something about unsuccessful plans. We'll see what else pops out before we expand on that message. Now for the second part of the deck. There we go. We got the Rooster. An arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. All right. So I wonder if maybe you've been struggling with someone recently in your life, Pile 2, that hasn't been the most fun person to deal with. You know, we think of a rooster as someone that crows very loudly, like it says arrogant, it says boastful. Also, it can just mean someone that just makes a lot of noise. Not even just in an arrogant way, but of course we think of roosters in the morning. They're very loud, they wake you up to something, okay? And then Knot 2 is unsuccessful plans. I almost wonder if maybe this person had unraveled some plans of yours, or in general, they're related to the situation where your plans have gone a bit awry. So, before we continue with those two messages, though, let's draw the tarot cards. That'll give us even more context. Okay. Not my best shuffle in the world. Let's try that one more time. Are we ready? There we go. A lot better. I usually get it after the second try. All right. Any more context, Spirit, for Pile 2's reading today? Well, and also, too, when you think of God in the shadow attribute, like it says, despotism and cruelty using power to control people. So I almost wonder if you've been dealing with someone who's kind of controlling, too, with the rooster. Let's see. Okay, we have the Knight of Swords as your first card. That one flipped out. And then let's cut the deck here. So 2, 3, 4. And we'll take one from the first one, 5. Excuse me. All right, let's look at the other ones. And we've got a Queen of Swords. Look at all these swords energy, too. I mean, not only did we talk about a lot of sound, someone making a lot of noise, but you have a lot of swords cards, which are the suit of air in tarot, which is communication, speaking a lot. Air everywhere. And then we've got the Tower reversed. Okay, so that's avoiding a disaster. There's the heart of the matter. And then we've got, look, another swords, the 3 of Swords, which means pain, just like she's cutting into her wings. We even have the figure back here. It looks like, I don't remember the original Japanese folktale. I believe it was a Japanese folktale that this card derives from. But I think that's her husband. Or it's a masculine figure at the very least, I can tell. And then we have Judgment as the final card, leveling up, moving past things. Okay, so I can already tell you right off the bat, Pile 2, part of the divine aid the universe is giving you soon with this situation is the ability to move up and move past it. Okay, so maybe you feel like you've been kind of dragged into this drama with this person. Maybe you kind of feel like, too, especially if they have control over something or they've been kind of commanding or demanding or, I mean, like Rooster says, arrogant and boastful. Maybe they've had more control over your situation than you yourself. And so you're like, man, how do I get away from this? In which case that judgment as an outcome would mean you being able and being given an opportunity to move upward and onward away from this person. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, we have the Knight of Swords as your inciting incident. That means someone taking action with our words or taking action with clarity or intelligence. So that can mean that maybe really what spurred this all was something that you said or something that this person said that got everything going, okay? Because a Knight of Swords is taking action with air would be like saying, like saying something, right? And then we have the Queen of Swords as the second card. Now, she technically is upright, so that usually means a positive thing. However, because we're talking about a person that maybe isn't like the nicest, that can technically represent, Queen of Swords in the negative can be someone that's ruthless with their tongue. Excuse me. Ruthless with their tongue, as well as maybe cold or bitter or harsh. That's another really good word to use with the Queen of Swords in the negative. Or it could also represent you in the situation, Pile 2. Because I obviously see that I think you're probably... what I'm reading intuitively is that this is an issue of the other person, not yours. So it could represent you in the positive with the Queen of Swords upright being like, maybe you've been trying like to be diplomatic with this person and it just isn't working, because that's another good word to use with the Queen of Swords is she's very eloquent of tongue. You've danced your dance around them. You're trying to do everything you can. Maybe it's even something at work, so you've had to be very professional. That's another really good word to use. And you're like, oh God, what's going to happen? Is this going to unravel? Especially with not unsuccessful plans. Maybe you're really afraid that things aren't going to work out. Like say if it is a customer at work or someone you have to deal with at work, very possible that you're like, oh God, I just hope they go along with it and like I can just get this over with and they don't have control over me anymore and I just want to move on. Okay. Whatever you're afraid of with this person, Pile 2, I'm very happy to report, because of the Tower reversed as your present circumstance, so either literally maybe today it already happened, or it could literally be in the very, very near future, like a few days to a week, you're going to avoid a disaster with this person. That's what the Tower reversed means. However, I will be an honest tarot reader and say you do have the 3 of Swords as the near future. There might still be a little bit of pain with this person, despite the worst case scenario not occurring, okay? Because the 3 of Swords represents pain, just like she's cutting her wings. But 2, it's kind of like she's cutting something off. Like I don't know if like it's possible that the universe will give you an opportunity to kind of cut this person off. Maybe the disaster avoided is like this person, say like if they blow up or they really push things and then they just make themselves look bad. And then it's like a realization that, you're not being the difficult one. It's like they're being the difficult one. That can technically be like a disaster avoided depending on your situation, but there might be a little bit of turbulence with the Three of Swords in the near future, a little bit of pain. However, the beauty is, like I said at the very end, you have judgment. Okay? Leveling up and moving onward and forward to better things. You're going to leave this person behind in the dust that's been bothering you, okay? I also think that you're going to come out looking the better person, the bigger person, because that's another way judgment can represent itself, especially upright, is positive judgment. So you'll be judged positively in the end. You might even, especially like say it is a customer at work or something, or a client, whatever your particular job is, very possible that like people will judge you as, oh God, you're a saint. Speaking of God, right? You're a saint for having dealt with this person. We commend you for being patient because they've been difficult. Okay, so I don't know who you've been dealing with, pile number 2, but obviously they're not a fun person. So my condolences on that aspect. But the good news is the divine aid is the universe is going to send you some help as well as like throw you a bone regarding avoiding a disaster with this person. And after just a little bit of pain, you can just leave them in the dust and you don't have to worry about them anymore. Okay, there's something that's going to happen that they're going to be left behind. Okay, they're going to be out of your life. They're going to be completely not a problem anymore. Okay. So, I might pull some more tarot cards towards the end, because I might have some more questions, right? I did that with pile 1. However, some of my questions as the tarot reader might be answered by the oracle cards, so let's draw those first. Anything else, Spirit, you want to say for pile 2 regarding this situation? Any more details? Maybe the how and the why, if possible, or just in general? Purpose. That came out quite fast. We also have a clock melting. All right, so I almost wonder if time has been an issue with this situation as well, like with the melting clock. It's pointing at like 10. Oh, it's weird. The numbers aren't even right on it. It's not like the normal Roman numerals. But technically it's pointing at like 10, 20, 10, 15, something like that. Maybe that's a number that might resonate with some of you with your situation. But yeah, so like maybe time is an issue. Maybe it's like they're pressing you to do something faster than what is, what should be expected normally, especially if it's like a client, for an example, or maybe like they've been giving you less and less time for something that needs to be done in the right way. But purpose in general is, it makes me question their purpose. I feel like intuitively this isn't so much about your purpose in this situation. It's more about their purpose. Like, I don't know if maybe they're trying to get something out of the situation that, like, they don't deserve. I'm going to draw one more tarot card on that, actually. That's the first thing I'm going to draw tarot on. I know I said I'd draw all your oracle cards, but I don't want to interrupt the flow of talking about this card to go to the next one quite yet. Spirit, what do you mean with purpose regarding the other person? Because I'm getting the feeling that it's about the difficult person. What about the difficult person and their purpose? Okay, that one for sure would, like, pick me. I was about ready to, like, fly out, okay. The Eight of Wands reversed. Speaking of time, because literally this is one of the only cards in the entire tarot deck that deals with the timing of things, okay. Although I guess the Six of Cups technically can be, like, refers to the past, but this is literally about the timing of something. And the Eight of Wands reversed, pile 2, is all about slowing something down. So speaking of a clock in time, right? I almost wonder if they're trying to slow you down on purpose for some reason, pile 2. If you're asking the universe, why is this person being difficult? Or why am I running into this obstacle? It's because someone wants something to go slower. That's why, like, maybe even the numbers on the clock don't make sense, because it's like it doesn't make sense for them to want to go. Like, I almost wonder if they're trying to, like, put off payment for something, or, like, they're trying to, like, slow down something because Like it's not convenient to their timing. It's something along those lines. So if you've been asking why, that's the reason that Spirit is giving you, okay? Something with timing and speed. We'll set those over here. And then last but not least, we have the Ask Your Guides Oracle. Anything else you want to say, Spirit, with the Oracle decks about this situation? You've definitely earned a halo over your head after this one pile, too. Everything that's been going on. Definitely a halo moment. All right, and then we have Celebration. Look at that, number 37 with Joy Guides. Literally two feminine figures dancing around a fire with another one rising from the smoke. Well, apparently, I mean, this is probably pretty obvious, but when this person leaves your sphere, you're going to be really, really, really ready to celebrate. I mean, but that's kind of a given, right, pile too, especially with difficult people. When they leave your life, you're like, oh, thank God, finally, pop the champagne. So celebration, dancing around a fire. You know, I think that means too, pile two, that in the end, despite what this person has been trying to do, you're still also going to be successful. So it's not even a divine aid in terms of Spirit helping you with getting rid of the negative person or influence. It's also them helping you in terms of making you or helping you succeed despite what they've been trying to do. Okay, so if you're worried about it going absolute bananas upside down, it's not going to do that. I mean, we already kind of saw that with the Tower reversed. Like I said, that's a disaster avoided. But the celebration is kind of like a secondary repetition of that message of it's going to be okay. You're still going to celebrate in the end. Not just because, well, obviously a difficult person is getting out of the way, right? But like I said, pop the champagne when that happens, right? But at the same time, I mean, you celebrate when you've had a success, or there's something to celebrate. So let me see. I think I will draw one more spread of tarot cards for you, pile two. Let's see, what question do we want to ask? I'm half tempted to ask the question, what will happen to this person after they're left behind or they're out of your sphere? But I'm not sure if that's the most pertinent thing to ask in terms of... See, that's the thing, is when I record these, I can never really 100% guess what you guys might want to know most. So, let's see. If I were you, what would I want to ask? Oh, well, I'm hearing from Spirit to ask what reward you'll get after this. There's something about a reward you're going to get for it. Okay. All right, Spirit, thank you for that guidance. 3 cards. What reward will they get from this, too? Out in the aftermath. Okay, well, we've got the 6 of Swords, which literally means moving on, which we kind of already talked about with Judgment. So moving on, especially to safer pastures. So that's another potential meaning of the 6 of Swords. We have the 4 of Swords, rest. Okay, well, your stress is going to be a lot less. That's part of the reward, for sure, because that's the 4 of Swords. It's all about taking a breather. And then we have the 6 of Cups. Interesting, 2 6s. 6 of Cups is nostalgia or the past. So part of the reward is a return to form, to the way that things used to be. Okay. I almost wonder if some of you, like, this person is someone that was added to, say, your workplace or, like, your friend group or something, and they've been throwing a wrench and everything, and then it's like after they leave, it's a return to form for your workplace being as good as it used to be. Or same thing, like, if it's a friend group, like, the harmony in the friend group gets a lot better afterwards, because it's something along those lines. But in general, they really want to reassure you, pile two, that you're going to move beyond this. You're going to get it to a better place with this. That's what the 6 of Swords is all about, okay? Literally, we have, and I can't remember what Greek myth this is, but it's a mother and a son moving to better pastures, away from dangerous waters to safe shores, okay? So that's part of your reward. And then, yes, rest. We have the 4 of Swords. Being able to put something to rest, being able to take a breather, being able to reduce your mental stress. And then, yes, 6 of Cups, like I said, I already explained that quite a bit, but is a return to form, a return to the way that things were. So I mean, all in all, what this person is doing doesn't feel personal. It just feels like it's more they, for some reason, want to slow things down, or there's something with the timing that they're trying to manipulate. And that's what's causing the problem. But you're going to avoid that bad outcome or worst outcome. And you're going to be able to move on. There's a lot of cards, too, about forward momentum and better trajectory and getting to higher heights. Okay? So, I mean, for some of you, that could even mean a promotion after this. Especially, like, too, I was saying, I feel like you're going to get positive judgment from the judgment card we mentioned before for having endured whatever this was. Okay? Or whoever this was, I should say, as a person. And 2, I mean, you're going to look like you have a halo over your head after all of this, right? And I'll say that as the tarot reader, too. You have a halo over your head over, especially if a lot of this is resonating and everything you've been going through, pile 2. You earned that halo, just like we see the halo in the God card, okay? So just know this person's being petty. They're just trying to save their own butt in some way, as how I'll put it, with timing. But everything will turn out fine in the end, okay? Things will be great. Good movement, rest to the way things were. And that is your reading for today about the divine help that you'll receive next. The universe is going to throw you a bone and some help in removing this negative influence and helping you get to better places, okay? So, if you liked the reading, if it resonated, and of course, most of all, if it helped you, please like the video itself. Please comment down below your story. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so yet. This is just my little spiel. I always say at the end, just a tiny little button click away for you, just half a second to subscribe, which helps me immeasurably with keeping the dream of this channel alive forevermore, of spiritually healing people, as well as providing free readings for both you and others in the future. And as is our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, full of less frustrating people, of course. And I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, Pile 2. Hello there, Pile number 3. Welcome today to your Pick a Card reading about the divine aid you'll receive next. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the student card for your Pile leader, and I'll read the smaller text now that we're within your reading. So light attributes says, humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. Shadow attributes, arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge, unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. So keep those things in mind as we look through your next cards. I want to start the reading with a tarot spread and one of the oracle decks. So actually we'll start with your tea leaves here as that same oracle deck. So Spirit, can you tell us more about the divine aid and help that you'll be giving Pile 3 in the near future? What is it that they're going to get help with from above? Okay, I'm drawn to this one. Excuse me. Apologize once again if my voice is a bit scratchy. Where I live, we're having lots of wildfire haze, so breathing quality has not been the absolute best. Okay, there we go. There's tea leaf number 2. And let us look at your tarot cards as well. We'll draw those. Three, 4, 5. And let's unveil your tea leaves first. So we have candle. You will be shown the way. We'll put that right up by the candle. Go figure. And then we also have spear. Heartache over what you no longer have. So maybe recently you've lost something, Pile 3. And you've been trying to find out where to find it or how to replace whatever this is. Now, it could be a very literal tangible thing, or it could be more of an intangible thing. We'll see what your tarot cards say. We have the Ace of Wands, an opportunity in the realm of fire, which is ambitions, creativity, what we're confident in, things we're passionate about. Then we have the Star reversed, losing our hope or faith in something. Uh-oh. Okay, a bit of a picture is forming here. Maybe that's where the spear comes in. Heartache over having lost something. Star, losing hope or faith. Then we have the Seven of Swords reversed. The unveiling of trickery or deception. Okay, we literally have the coyote, which is a trickster figure in a lot of Native American lore, hence why that's that particular card. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles reversed, feeling insecure with our material things, finances, and career. And last but not least, the Four of Wands reversed, unhappiness in the home, or it could also potentially represent something that's we wanted to celebrate but can't. Like a hollow victory of some sort. Interesting cards you have here, pile number 3. Now, I know a lot of you probably see these end cards and you're like, uh-oh. But this reading is kind of what I see as a blessing reading because we're asking what divine help you're getting. And so in this case, I feel like this is exactly, we see kind of the beginning of the story here, and I'll explain that in a second as to like context of where this blessing is coming from, this divine help. But as the outcome card, it feels like this is what's going to be corrected. Okay. So, what I'm hearing is, like I said, you recently had some sort of setback. Something that you lost, tangibly or intangibly. And especially because of the context of the Ace of Wands and the Star reversed as the inciting incident and the recent past cards. It's like you were given something that you thought you wanted, or you thought was for you, especially regarding ambitions or creativity or the things that you're passionate about. Could also mean technically a relationship, right? We're passionate about those things. But something made you lose faith. You have that star reversed. Literally, I've lost my hope or my faith in this thing. Maybe that's literally what you've lost, is the hope or the faith that this is what you expected it to be. Could be, like I said, a relationship, could be a new job that you started, could be, maybe an opportunity that you thought was just the bee's knees, and then all of a sudden, boom, you realized, oh, this isn't exactly what I was looking for. Especially, too, with the context in the present situation of the middle card, I also call that the heart of the matter, okay? Kind of the underlying current over everything is a feeling of betrayal, a feeling of this isn't what I thought it was. Because like I said, the Seven of Swords reversed, that coyote trickster, he's been revealed. All right? All of a sudden, boom, you're like, I understand now that this isn't what I thought it was. I feel like I've been misled. I feel like I've been deceived. Okay, those types of emotions are popping up here with these cards. And I think you're worried about the future because of this in terms of your finances, your security with your material things. That's what the Queen of Pentacles reversed represents. And 2, you're worried about your stability in the home, or it can also, the Four of Wands reversed, like I said, feels like a hollow victory or something that you thought you were going to celebrate, but now you're like, well, what's to celebrate when it's not what I expected it to be? Okay, something along those lines. Now, that's a lot of negative stuff, I know. I know this is technically a divine help reading, but this is just the context of what's going to change. Because you do have your tea leaf over here, pile 3, of the you will be shown the way. And I find it interesting, too, that because you got the star card, like I said, that represents a lack or a loss of hope or faith in something. But when we also think of stars in their other context, we understand that they're, at least obviously for many thousands of years before we had modern GPS, they were navigational tools. Okay, a lot of really advanced seafaring ancient societies, or even up to until we got the technology of GPS, used stars to wayfare. The Polynesians, probably the Vikings. I don't know if I've ever heard anything that they technically use stars to navigate, but I'm sure they did in some way because they knew which way was west, which way was east, right? A lot of societies use stars. And what I mean by bringing up that example is that it's like you're going to find, like the candle says, you will find your way or be shown the way. It's either a blessing or help from the universe in terms of you finding a new direction with this thing that isn't turning out what you thought it would be, or it's like you'll be given some other direction to follow that will give you what you really wanted from this hollow victory or this hollow thing, okay? So say it is maybe you started dating a new person and you thought this person is the bee's knees, this is going to be great, and then something happened, you lost your hope or your faith in them being the person that you wanted them to be or to have the relationship that you wanted. And so in that case, this would be help from the universe in finding someone new that does fulfill those things that you're looking for, right? Or say it is a career-related thing, pile 3, just as another example to throw out there. It could be like maybe you got a new job but it's turning out that it's not really, maybe some things weren't advertised correctly. Maybe some of the job responsibilities are a little off from what was advertised in the online ad, or maybe you're not getting paid as much as you thought you were going to be based on what they advertised, something along those lines. If that's the case for you, then it would be something as an example of an improvement in, and especially if it was a recent job that you just started, you might get a call back from a different interview that you went to. And it's like that one would be a job that's more, like, it's better fitting for what you have. Of course, you'd really have to, or not fitting for what you have, fitting for what you're looking for. That's how I'll put that. I mean, which, of course, you have to really weigh, you just started a new job. Do you really want to leave it really quickly for the other opportunity? And that's your decision to make, right? But, or it could also be like maybe you've been at this job for a while, but it still really isn't turning out what you thought it would be. And then, poof, all of a sudden this opportunity comes up for like a role in a different department that does fit more what you were actually looking for in terms of what satisfies you at a job. So, of course, every single one of you will be different in exactly what it is that you think that, you lost, and you lost your hope and your faith in. So to find out what this represents in your life, really ask yourself, what have I lost hope or faith in recently? Or what have I lost recently that I want back, or I want to find again? And that is what the universe is going to help you with, okay? Be it a relationship, be it a job, what have you, depending on your situation, okay? Let's grab some of your other cards. Although, I think too, I'm sorry, I was going to grab your other oracle cards, but I got caught on the Queen of Pentacles reversed, and like I said, in a reading like this, I would read this as part of what's going to improve from here on out. I think whatever this is will also help you with greater satisfaction with your career or your finances, or like your sense of security, even if it's not necessarily money. Okay, and greater satisfaction in the home, like we said with the Four of Wands reversed. Something to actually celebrate rather than what you thought you wouldn't get to celebrate. I don't know if some of you possibly have a birthday coming up pretty soon. I just find it funny because you have the Four of Wands and then the candle. It makes me think of birthdays, right? If so, happy birthday, pile 3. Yeah. Let's grab some of your other cards here. I'm going to look at your Dream Ritual Oracle. Oh boy. That is a lot of cards that just came flying out. So we're actually going to put that back on the top, and then we're going to cut the deck. Because as much as I wish I could take 4 cards, my little desk space does not have room for that. We have Passion. Okay. Just like we were talking about, it's divine aid that will help you find the thing that you're passionate about again. Like I said, it almost feels like you've lost your enthusiasm, as we said with the other cards, so I won't repeat that too much at that point. But it's like you'll find that passion again. You'll find that enthusiasm. Okay, that's another actually interpretation of the Ace of Wands that I neglected to mention earlier. The Ace of Wands can also represent a spark of being passionate about something. It's like getting your verve back. Okay, being passionate. And also, specifically, the imagery in this card is of a lotus blooming. Right? And a lotus first has to go through the muck and the mud at the bottom of the water and go through that darkness, and then finally hits the surface and it blooms. So it's like you finally hitting that breath of relief, that breath of fresh air after a long time of feeling like you've been drowning in this disappointment, okay? And also, too, with the swing, I find that an interesting symbolism on this card because, whenever I think of swings, I think of them as like a symbolism of excitement, okay? Just as like you remember being on the swing when you were a kid and you got that feeling in your belly, kind of like that roller coaster feeling, right? Like getting that back again, that what you thought you lost. And then let's grab your other oracle deck. Okay, so a greater gift of passion, being able to follow that passion more. And then I also want to touch on your student card. We haven't even talked about that yet, but okay, well that was quite instant. We got that card flying out. Like, speaking of flying out, we have a dove escaping a cage, freedom. Number 54, so maybe you feel quite trapped too, pile 3. Maybe part of the disappointment is you feel like you're more trapped or stuck in a smaller box than you thought you would be. You're like, am I really happy here? Am I really satisfied with this golden cage? Literally, a golden cage. But then the universe comes along, and once again, I find it interesting that there's a star up here, literally like the bird's flying towards the star, towards its next true north, finding its next navigational aid, okay? Finding what it really wants and going for it. Finding hope and faith again. But yes, freedom in general. You're going to gain greater freedom from this divine help. It's like the universe coming forward and opening that cage door for you, and then you can finally fly free. So it's not even so much about you getting back what you thought you lost. It's like you being freed from needing that thing, but then getting something else that replaces what you thought that thing was fulfilling, is what I'm hearing, pile 3. So looking at your student too, like I said, light attributes, humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. You know, maybe some of you, this is like a career path that you chose that you're finding dissatisfaction with. It could also be that maybe like you've been pursuing a degree or a certification in some area, and then as you're going through the classes, you're finding like, I don't know, this isn't what I thought it would be. Like you thought you'd be more passionate about it than you actually are. That is one possibility. And then 2, with shadow attributes, it says arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge, unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. It could also just be where you feel like you've learned a lot of things, but it's like you have no direction to put them in. Like, you know, maybe it could be like, say you did earn a degree, but you're having a hard time finding a job because of that. Or not because of that, but like after that. Like you have all this knowledge that has like nowhere to go. And then in which case that would be like the learning and all the skills that you've earned, pile 3. That's also what's being let out of the cage with this divine help. Okay, so like I've done for every single reading today, every single pile, I want to ask some final questions. I like to do that with readings like this because, you know, I always think there must be some more questions in your minds as you're watching this, because sometimes the cards that come out already don't answer everything. So what I'm hearing so far for you, pile 3, I'm being drawn to ask exactly what it is. Well, because we talked about how you're going to find something that replaces this passion or like frees you from this disappointment in some way. Something to actually celebrate and that will make you feel more secure. I'm going to ask for a more tangible answer on exactly what this is, okay? Because I think if I were you, pile 3, the question in my mind most prominently would be, well, what is it exactly should I look out for so that I don't miss it? Okay, something along those lines. So spirit guides for pile 3, spirit in general, what tangibly more is this all about? What is it that they're receiving? I know we had some theories that came forward, but... Okay, so the devil, which is interesting because we literally had a card that was just about freedom, and the devil is all about the things that bind us. Okay. Then we have the Queen of Swords, being able to express feminine energy mastery over air, which is communication and intelligence and logic. And then we have the World reversed, which is something not being the end. So I think pile 3, if you're wanting an exact answer on the tangible thing that's replacing what you thought you lost, or what you thought was deceptive, someone is going to, and it might be you, pile 3. That's the thing with court cards, is sometimes they can represent other people, sometimes they can represent yourself. Someone else is going to come forward, and they probably will be an air sign, hence the Queen of Swords. Probably feminine energy that's going to help break this cage for you, okay? They're going to help break that devil, that feeling of being bound. So that relates to your freedom card, right? You're going to be let out of that cage. The Queen of Swords in your life, could be even you yourself, right? Is going to slay that devil, metaphorically, that's holding you back. And then there's this little twist here with the World reversed. It's like I said, it's something that's not coming to an end that you thought you would come to an end with, okay? So, for example, like for some of you where you're trying to do something that takes advantage of your skills and all the knowledge and learning that you've accumulated so far. Like, maybe you thought you'd have to put that to bed, but you won't have to. And that's part of the gift that's coming, the help that's coming from the universe, okay? Or it could be, for some of you, this is like a relationship that isn't, or you're trying to date someone and it wasn't working out. And then you find like a new person, a new passion that could technically mean, like maybe you were even thinking of putting off dating. Like, oh, I'm just not even going to try anymore. So it's like something comes along that makes it so that you don't end that trying. Like there's something along those lines with the world reversed. So as long as you go forward with the energy of the Queen of Swords here, pile 3, which is someone who takes action, like I said, with feminine energy and air, which, for a tangible example, that would be speaking your truth from inside honestly. That's a really good example of what a Queen of Swords would do with her energy. That will help you break free. Okay? That will help the universe bring you to a better place to find what you're looking for or what you're wanting to replace. Okay? So that if there is one little piece of advice, it would be that. And I'm trying to think if there's any other questions I want to ask for you, pile 3. Any mysteries left that we want to fill in the gaps of? So yeah, I mean, just to summarize, pile 3, whatever it is you thought you lost, you'll be shown the way to something to replace it. Okay? Or to find it again in a different, better form. You're going to be freed. There's a lot of symbolism around being freed from something in this reading, okay? Things are not going to come to the end that you think they are, but in a positive way, okay? You're going to find that navigational star again, find your hope and faith in whatever it is that you're doing. Greater security, okay? Reasons to celebrate. Places to invest your skills and your knowledge and your learning, where they're accepted. And it's like you have some sort of current to give them to, rather than feeling like you have to stifle them. I mean, that's another thing with the Queen of Swords, too, would be an educated feminine energy person. So that's another way that might represent you. I just want to mention that on the side, too. So if that's the case, keep doing what you're doing, pile 3. Keep following your passion. Keep going, even if it doesn't seem like you're out of the woods yet, or you're losing faith. Because the universe will send you this help to rectify what you're looking for. Okay? So, that is the reading for today, my wonderful pile number 3. Of course, I hope that you liked it. I hope that it helped you. I hope that it resonated. And if so, please like the video itself. Please comment down below your story or your situation. I'm always interested to hear everything about, how these readings resonate. And of course, I think other people in our community, as I always say, like to, a lot of you, if you're drawn to the same pile, oftentimes you're in the same boat. And I think it's very healing to hear other people going through similar things so we don't feel so alone. So please do that. And of course, please subscribe to the channel, to Lone Pine Tarot, if you have not done so yet. That just helps me out a little bit, which helps me provide more readings for both you and others in the future. Free readings, and like I said, helps keep the dream alive of the channel of spiritually healing people. And as is our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 3.